Pop, pop.
Pop culture.
Dude, I've watched Community.
I loved your build up there, and I'm just ruining it with pop, pop.
That's all I was going to say.
What up, punks? Welcome back to another episode of the Pop Culture Punks podcast.
Man, I was a punk growing up, too.
Hey,
Yeah, buddy. We're still punks.
one of a kind.
Kind of.
Haven't grown up.
Where we bring pop culture to the pit every week for you guys. This week, we've got another guest on the podcast. I pulled this little bio from your website.
Oh,
so,
hey.
all right.
award-winning recording artist, producer, filmmaker, and DJ, Rip. Do you go by Rip?
Or
Yeah.
like DJ Rip?
DJ
Nah,
Rip?
just Rip. I mean,
Just
you call
Rip?
me, Rip.
Okay. Or we could go by your real name. That's
Yeah, I
whatever,
mean, some of
whatever
my
you want.
some of my close friends that I even like work and DJ with, and they call me Rip, and it's weird sometimes because I'm like, dude, I'm Josh, but like I'm Rip. You know what I'm saying? Like people that don't know me, like I'm Josh to like close friends and family. But
Okay.
I mean, everybody
to the
around,
fans,
everybody
you're
knows
Rip.
me as Rip. Yeah, they
Yeah.
know me as Rip.
Cool. So yeah,
Sweet.
we got Rip here, and he's got a large list of things that he does. So, if you want to get started, just introduce yourself, which I kind of just did, but go a little bit more in depth what you do, what you're up to right now, and what you're doing. So,
Man, my name is Rip. I'm a recording artist. I'm a DJ. I'm a producer. I'm a filmmaker, director. Jack of all trades, master of none. So
I hear that.
You know,
Let me tell you.
sounds like him.
yeah. No, man, I started making music. I was telling Josh a little bit of this, man. I've been making music for almost 20 years. I actually started in the mid and late 90s.
Wow.
So like kind of what you guys have set up right now with this podcast, like I literally made a setup in my bedroom when I couldn't afford, like I was a 15-year-old kid, like
Yeah.
starting to pursue music. And I grew up with a single mother household raising 4 boys, you know what I'm saying? So all I had was a dream and a little bit of Radio Shack mixers and microphones, you know what I'm saying? I ran it all into my computer and I learned how to actually record before like digital audio workstations and all that were
Yup.
popular. Like you had to go still to the studio to like record stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and it was like $30 an hour and I'm like 15 in the 90s. I'm like, dude, I can't afford this. My family. So I figured out a way to rig up a system how to record in my bedroom. I'm sitting there with my buddies from high school just like freestyling on, you know, I had a couple turntables. I got this mixer my uncle gave me that was from like Radio Shack. I had a turntable, like a cassette player, like a CD player, and I just like mixed all the stuff together in the mixer, and I ran like an 1/8" jack into my computer, like sound card, and I figured out how to record on my computer.
Dang.
So I mean, like, you know, and this was before like this was before YouTube, this was before MySpace or SoundCloud or any of that stuff. And I'm recording, putting stuff, and I figured out how to build a free website like on Angel Fire. I don't know if you guys are familiar. Back
It sounds really
it was
familiar.
sounds really
it was like
familiar,
Angel
yeah.
Fire and GeoCities were the first
Yeah.
few like free hosts. Where
Sure.
so I literally had a website up in high school in like 1998.
Dang.
You know what I'm saying? So like, I'm just dating myself, but that's you know what I mean.
all
So
cool.
and then I created my first label with a credit card that I got on my 18th birthday while I was still in high school. I created Rip Records, and it's still to this day, it's still up 18 years strong. Rip-records.com. So
Dang.
Nice.
yeah, man, it's just
Tight.
making music for almost 20 years now. Well, 20 years now, but officially with my label for 18 years. So, man, I've done a lot of things over the years, released a lot of things, and man, you know, it's just. I don't know. It's just one of those things, you know what I'm saying? Like, I had different waves in my career, and now, you know, my music is kind of taking a different path, but I'm still here. At the end of the day, I'm still here, still making music.
That's cool. That's
So,
cool.
Awesome.
Nice little bio there. So usually on the podcast, Josh and I do a little pop culture update before we kind of get into things. Is there anything you've been watching, listening to, reading that you've
You know what?
been on lately?
Yeah, I'll be completely honest, dude. Like, it's kind of crazy. I should be up making music and everything that I do. Like, I should be on top of pop culture, even like as a DJ. Like, I still make a living and I support my music career with like DJing and freelance videography and stuff. So I do like, you know, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I should really be on top of pop culture. I don't watch a lot of movies. Like, I don't even own. Like, I left my PlayStation 3 and my like handful of DVDs. Like, in my last relationship, we broke up. Like, she kept that stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
I actually left it there because, like, honestly, to be honest, at the time, like, I didn't have such a need for movies.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, what was important to me was she used to watch Netflix a lot. So, like, I actually left it there for her as a kind of, like, out of love.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, I left the PS3 with her, and I had a couple games, and I had, you know, and I had a few movies. I had like the Fast and the Furious box set, which I want, and then The Sound of Music, and a couple DVDs. But like I don't sit there and watch movies. Like, in my room, I got a bookshelf, and I'll read more than anything. But like, as far as like watching TV and movies, I just went to the movies the other night, and I maybe go to like 2-3 movies a year, maybe. So But I used to be big. I mean, I still pay attention to pop culture. I see what's happening on like Twitter and Facebook and all that other stuff. But I do want to see the new Lady Gaga movie though.
I've heard good things.
A Star Is Born.
I want to see that.
Yeah.
I want to see that because I love Gaga, and it's just what I've seen in that movie. Excuse me, I'm like, I got these allergies and everything, so
He's right along with you.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
all
always
good.
like,
but I mean, it's very reminiscent of my life, dude. I just heard from what I've seen, it just looks like it deals with just like struggle, love, addictions, and all that other kind of stuff, and it just seems like real life to me. And I just the trailer and what I've seen like emotionally pulled me in, and I love Gaga on top of it. So I mean, I do want to see that, and yeah, I don't know what else is popping in culture right now.
That's all good. So you said books. So has there been anything that you've read recently that has like really impacted you or?
Yeah, dude, I love books. The most recent book, actually, the most recent book that I just purchased, and I only got through chapter 1. There's this dude called John Kennedy Vaughn with Shields of Strength on Instagram, and if you follow him, this dude is like beyond. I mean, this man has wisdom that just transcends like any sort of wisdom. He's faith-based, you know what I'm saying? Like he's a Christian and everything. But he speaks on love. If you look up John Kennedy Vaughn on Instagram, man, this dude, it's amazing. And his book is called The Right Fight. And it's about like how to live a loving life and everything. Because at the end of the day, at the end of the day, the most important thing is love. You know what I'm saying? And he just teaches how to love. And he just has these very wise Instagram videos. I actually found him on Instagram. And then he just released a book like recently, and it became like a Amazon top seller.
Wow!
Like just unexpectedly, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And this guy he's just wise beyond years, and I love his stuff. So I just bought his book, and I look forward to finishing that book. And I just started that one. And then what was the other books? How can I think? I'm like drawing a blank right now, man.
It's all good. We have like too much stuff that we consume, so we're always
Yeah.
complaining
Yeah, we're
about
always-
like the new thing, the new waves
Yeah,
of
yeah.
crap that keeps rolling in the door. But no, it's all good.
you read any fiction, or do you mostly stick with nonfiction?
It's I don't read a lot of fiction, man. To be honest, I like
Not
reading
enough
stuff
time in the
that.
day.
Yeah, but I like reading stuff that's gonna help me grow and learn and understand things. And I don't got nothing against fiction. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, if you watch some of my music videos, I mean, they're inspired by like, you know what I'm saying, like fiction based kind of like books and movies. But yeah, no, I haven't read a fiction book in a long time.
It's all good. What's been one thing that you've read that's like really changed maybe your perception? So if and can you remind me the Instagram author that you were mentioning? So like something along those lines that you've read that's impacted you?
The first book that changed my life that was nonfiction was without a doubt 5 Love Languages by Dr. Gary Chapman. And I read that back in 2012 after like a breakup. And I remember reading that book. I'm like, dude, this is life changing. I'm like, I'm literally going to marry the next woman that I date. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how insightful this book is. And unfortunately, that didn't pan out. But I mean, like, I did, my next relationship though, like, and from that day forward, like, I was like, before we even get in a relationship, you got to read this book. You know what I'm saying? And I actually, I didn't make her, but like, I had her read the book before we even got into a relationship. And it's there's still a lot of other factors that go into, you know what I'm saying, like love and marriage and all that other stuff. It's not just simply knowing somebody's love language, but it's a big help. And that book is what really changed my life. And I'm like, man, this is like almost some common sense stuff, but nobody knows it, you know what I'm saying? And and so that's what kind of opened my eyes to like wanting to pursue more knowledge as far as like relationship and loves or like love and self-help and all that other stuff. Because I mean, dude, I grew up full of like heartbreak and heartache and all that other stuff, and like, who wants to go through that? You know what I'm saying? So from that was like a changing point in my life where I'm like, dude, I don't want to hurt anymore. I mean, we're going to hurt. That's a human nature. I mean, we're going to, but I'm like, if I can minimize this so I can, you know what I'm saying, have some sort of knowledge or somewhat of a control over this kind of stuff, like I'm going to learn. I'm going to learn about women. I'm going to learn about love. I'm going to learn about relationships and marriage and all that other stuff. So I started diving into those kind of books because of the 5 Love Languages. So that was a book that really changed my, was like a new direction in my life.
Awesome.
Interesting. Yeah, I read that book before I got married, and it was a super helpful book. Yeah, super good.
Absolutely.
I've honestly never read the book, but the amount of time,
the amount of times
that
people talk
it gets
about
like
it,
brought up in the day-to-day relationship is astounding. But it's super insightful. So if you're a young gentleman seeking Seeking Your Lady Well.
Yeah.
Read it.
That and the way
Learn.
There's two other books actually. These are more secular books. Dr. Gary Chapman obviously is a Christian or whatever, but it's still a book that it's not forced specifically for like Christians or whatever. It could be for anybody. But the other two books that are secular are The Way of the Superior Man by David Dita, and then How to Be a 3% Man by Coach Corey Wayne. Those two books are life changing, man.
Cool.
They're like, I mean, if you ever want to understand like a woman and how love and everything works, like those two books are it. Again, common sense, but like it's not common sense because you don't see it. I mean, it's just basically like love is like a battery. There's polarity. You have a positive and negative. You know what I'm saying? And those books just kind of really outline it really well on how to just show up as a man in a relationship and those are some life-changing books too. I don't know. I'm starting to ramble on way too much.
No, you're good, man.
I can see how you guys easily go with a 90-minute podcast, and next thing you know, it's like,
we just ramble off.
Well, at least this is like life-giving. I feel like half the time we're like, well, that Batman comic was really interesting. So, like,
for sure.
But
yeah.
I'm big on knowledge, man. I'm just big on knowledge.
Yeah,
and,
right
and
on.
Stuff,
No, I feel you too. Yeah, I tend to read a lot of. I tend to read half and half, probably nonfiction, fiction, just to keep my mind flowing in all different directions with creativity and stuff.
So, what's your favorite fiction book?
Oh my gosh.
That's a big question.
Yeah, right now I'm reading the Dark Tower series by Stephen King, which is sort of like a mix between like high fantasy and Western kind of. It's like a combining of all those things. It's pretty interesting. Stephen King kind of gets bogged down in description sometimes, but it's good. We're both pretty big into like sci-fi or like cyberpunk kind of stuff. Pretty much anything that's like speculative fiction for me, like 1984, Brave New World, like stuff that kind of like challenges and asks questions about like society and government and whatnot. So so
for sure,
yeah,
definitely. Neuromancer is probably what I've read most recently. So it's like we did a whole dive on the genre cyberpunk, which is basically like low life, high technology. And so it's a lot of people who are, criminals or whatever, but have access to a lot of high tech stuff. And as a result, they tend to not do great things with it. And so how the world kind of interacts with them and things like that. So it's pretty dope.
It is,
but
yeah.
I've always been, like you said, I've always been in like sci-fi and
for sure
worlds that can exist and seeing what the ideological expression of that world would look like if it had to play out. So
for sure.
So it's dope. But
yeah.
Anyway, we're interested, Rip, in what you've been up to in music. So I know the big thing it's been all over your Twitter and Instagram and stuff, which is super awesome. But the boy is a Grammy nominated artist. Like, what?
Well,
tell us about that.
All right. Well, first of all, I'm not nomination yet. It's I'm considered and I'm on the ballot. So we're voting on nominees right now.
Yeah.
So the final 5 who are voted for are the nominees. So I'm literally the step right before that. But I mean, that in itself is a huge honor, you know what I'm saying, to be on the ballot and to be voted on. And like, I got a lot of messages. I mean, I don't know how much of this I could, like, to be honest, like spill or whatever, but like, I got a lot of messages and emails from like voting members from the Recording Academy, like pledging their support for me, and just like the messages, like telling me how great they thought my song was and everything is like, man, it's like very rewarding, dude. So like, I'm kind of hopeful, man. Like, the messages that I got gave me hope. Whether I get that secure that nomination or not, like the fact that people are in the Recording Academy are paying attention and they're listening to my music and stuff. Like, it's like it's beyond, like, I can't explain it, man. It's just beyond words, dude. And it's awesome. I mean, I still, no matter what happens from this point forward, I still get an invite to go to the Grammys. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's tight.
So
that's awesome.
I mean, it's it's just awesome, dude. It's a blessing, man. Like,
what are so there's 2, right? What are the 2 considerations? That
yeah. So I mean, I'm considered for best music video for my Satisfied music video, and the one the category I probably have a better chance in is the best contemporary Christian performance and song for my single Drown, which is it's at radio right now. I got some support in like Australia, Canada, the United States. Some stations are playing it, and I got a lot of love in Barbados. They got it in heheavy rotation. Yeah,
that's tight.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a positive hits radio station in Barbados, Mix 96.9. I just did an interview with them last week, and they got it in heavy rotation out there. So it's awesome, man. I'm blessed. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's cool.
God's been good to me, so
awesome.
Cool. The Satisfied video, is that the one with like the maze? And you're kind of walking through?
Yep.
What was the inspiration behind that video?
So if you listen, I don't know if you listen to the song, I try making videos that, obviously, I mean, relate to the song and the lyrics and the content. So that song was kind of me struggling with, the song is like, why am I never satisfied? And that's something I struggled with a long time ago, you know what I'm saying? Or from my whole life. And I was like, why am I never satisfied? It's like, no matter what I attain in life, it's never enough for me. And it's, you know what I'm saying? I can have a beautiful girl, and for some reason that still wasn't enough. I can have like all these things, and it's just never enough. And I'm like, and I'm looking around at the rest of the world. I'm like, it's the same for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody's chasing something in this world. I mean, you like fiction. I don't know if you guys are into like C.S. Lewis and anything like that.
Yeah.
You know, but like one of his quotes was, you know, if I find in myself a desire in which nothing in this world can satisfy, the most probable explanation is I was made for another world. You know what I'm saying? So kind of one of those things where I'm like, how can I really bring this video or this message to life? And it was like a labyrinth. It's like I keep hitting these dead ends in life. You know what I'm saying? Like I keep chasing money, I keep chasing fame, I keep chasing women and all this stuff, and no matter what, it's never enough. So it's a dead end. So that's pretty much where the concept of the video came along. Like I keep hitting these dead ends. And these weren't the answer in life, you know what I'm saying? So like I finally hit the dead end at the end of the song, and it's kindly based. I mean, it's more or less like based off the book of Ecclesiastes in the Bible.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't know how familiar you guys are with that, but it's how futile everything is.
Yep.
And that's something that, like, you know, again, like recording this album. I came to a breaking point in my life about like 3 years ago. You know what I'm saying? And it was just all these things compounding on top of each other, and it was you know, that's when I really started. I was kind of drawn back to my faith and everything. And, you know, when I got into Ecclesiastes, I'm like, yo, this is like, again, like the answers are right here. You know what I'm saying? It's so simple and common sense. The answers are right here, but like nobody's like looking for it. And I finally found it, you know what I'm saying, in my early 30s. You know, I realized how futile everything in life is, and everything under the sun is just chasing the wind. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of where, you know, the concept for that song and that video came from. I just realized how everything in life I was chasing was futile. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if I did attain, you know, that level of success or fame or money or women that I wanted, like, I realized it wasn't going to fulfill anything. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, I don't know how deep we're going to get into this or whatever.
Dude, let's roll.
You know what I'm saying? But, like, so one perfect example, like, I never reached the level of fame or money that I wanted, but what I was chasing in life was, like, women. You know what I'm saying? And another thing I realized that I had that I've been dealing with the last few years was like a sexual addiction. You know what I'm saying? And again, it was like never enough. You know what I'm saying? Like you just keep chasing all these women and all these women. It's just like never enough, to a point where I reached that, like I said, that breaking point. It was all this, it was just all this like sin and all this stuff compounding on top of each other with all my other unresolved childhood issues and everything. Finally reached a breaking point. I hit that like 3 years ago, and that's where I actually started work on my new and latest album, Trinity, and that's where that album kind of dives into all of that stuff, you know, the dark stuff and you know, the brokenness and all that other stuff. So that's kind of where I'm at.
That's
I don't
awesome.
even know if I answered your original question.
No, thanks
about
for
that.
sharing.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
I'm curious. Go for it.
I was just gonna say, because I watched the video and it was just the cinematography and the directing. I don't know much about that stuff, but as far as what was in there, it was pretty dope, and the message behind the song was cool.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'm curious for you, Rip. So especially like hitting on a lot of those really deep issues, I feel like our culture is really wrestling right now, and I feel with, especially in the arts and the music industry, it's kind of grappling in the positive and the negative of what you were sharing, of like, it's not enough, and so some people say, so just go crazy and eat it all and do it all and have it all. And then some people, you know, kind of like what you're wrestling with is like, no, like don't go that route. So why do you think, you know, from maybe other artists you're around or from what you've experienced or what you've witnessed, people are tending to bite more into that message that have it all versus like maybe there's something more?
Yeah. I mean, because I mean, on the outside, sin looks really good. You know what I'm saying? Like it looks fulfilling. It looks, I mean, you go back to Adam and Eve, you know, and the whole, you know, apple thing, you know what I mean? Like, why did they do it? You know, it's just because it looked so good. You know what I'm saying? And everything now, the way it's, you know, the way the devil disguises things, I mean, everything looks good. I mean, the women look beautiful, you know what I'm saying? Like, the rich mansions and, you know, the luxurious lifestyle and the fame and, you know, and all that stuff. Like, I mean, I'm sure you guys are aware, like everybody in this world craves love and attention. You know what I'm saying? People just want to be accepted. I mean, why do you think suicide rates are so crazy right now? Because people feel unaccepted. Like people, you know, they feel like people don't love them. They don't accept them. They feel like they're worthless. You know what I'm saying? Like people want to have a sense of worth. They want to feel admired. People crave attention, and you see it, dude. Like on Instagram and people just like they crave that, man, but like they're craving these things that will never fill that void, you know what I'm saying? And I found in my life, you know what I'm saying, like that there's no other thing in this world that can fill that void. There's nothing in this world that can fill that void. And it's just, you know, and the people who don't get that, like I didn't get it for 2 years of my life. I didn't get it either. And I'm sitting here searching. I'm searching for an answer, and I didn't realize it either until you either A, hit a breaking point, or like someone like me hits you over the head with a hammer with it. And then, but most times, like people are like, they don't listen. But like, you know, even if I'm sowing a seed and they're like, well, wait a minute, you know, maybe he was right like 5 or 10 years down the road, and then they revisit, you know what I'm saying, what they heard me talk about. It's just, there's just this, I don't know. There's a longing for all these earthly things that will never fulfill that void in your heart, ever.
So do you think, because you're specifically in the hip hop genre, and a lot of, at least from what I see, like a lot of mainstream hip hop artists and rap artists, whatever you call it these days, a lot of it is focused on that external sort of stuff, kind of like flexing or that kind of thing. How do you think that plays into writing the kind of music you're writing, where you're kind of almost like subverting the message in a way?
I mean, first of all, like I said, I've been making music for almost 20 years, so I used to make that kind of music. You know what I'm saying? Like, but the whole people want to feel powerful. Like I said, people want to feel powerful. They want to feel like they're in a powerful position. They want the adoration. You know, they want it's ego. At the end of the day, it's all about ego. Do you guys like my like when I was talking about my sex addiction, like that was about ego. You know, it wasn't even about necessarily an addiction. Yeah, there was an addiction, but that was a byproduct of ego. You know what I'm saying? Like I wanted these hot women. I wanted women to like me. I wanted to feel important. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to feel like I could more or less capture the woman. You know what I'm saying? Like it's all ego based. You know what I'm saying? Everything is based on ego. So I think we have to learn to empty ourselves of our ego. And me and my personal faith, to fill myself up more God and less of me. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, these hip hop artists nowadays, you know what I'm saying? It's all ego. They want the views, they want the clout, they want the likes, they want the money, they want the fame. You know what I'm saying? They want that. What you got to realize is even if you do attain that, first of all, it'll never be enough because you always want more. But then what are you going to do after you hit that plateau and you come crashing down? You know what I'm saying? What's going to sustain you for the rest of life after that? You know what I'm saying? Like, and how do you go about, it's kind of like, you know what I'm saying, if you ever walk the moon, how do you go about, if you are ever an astronaut and you were able to walk the moon, like, how do you go about life after that? Or like Obama or all these presidents, like, how do you go about, after being leader of the free world, how do you go about life after that? You have to learn to adjust. It's not the same, you know what I'm saying? But you hit that, like, you hit that peak, that zenith of your, whatever you were pursuing, you know what I'm saying? And it's kind of like, you know, you'll never, I mean, do you get what I'm saying?
100%.
Yeah, you kind of reach what you've been trying to get, and then like, once you get there, you realize there's still more that you want, or that it didn't satisfy you in the way that you thought it would. Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's one of those things, just learning how to be content with what you have and what God gave you, and you know what I'm saying, and like all those extra things, I mean, that's fine, you know what I'm saying, like money, and you know, I'm you know, God bless, I mean, will bless people with abundance, you know what I'm saying? Like those things are fine. It's the love. It's not money itself. It's the love for money. You know what I'm saying? In your heart. Yep. It's your heart that's not right. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people, man, if you have a right heart, you could still achieve levels of fame and success and all that other stuff, but where's your heart at though? You know what I mean? So man, I don't know, man. It's pretty deep, dude. I mean, so I think if these artists could find it in their heart and realize that, you know what I'm saying, like, it goes back to the ego. You know what I'm saying? Like, how much of your ego are you trying to, I mean, dude, that's one thing I gotta pray about daily. Like, I literally have to try to like rid my ego like multiple times a day. Cause like no matter how, I mean, I could be humble and modest and all these other things, but I mean, it's, you know, there's times where my ego still like wants to, you know, come out, because it's like it's just the nature of, it's the earthly nature that we embody. It's human nature, you know what I mean?
So do you find, since kind of like finding, you said a couple years ago, kind of like refinding your faith or finding faith and kind of realizing all this stuff, have you found that it's easier to create music and videos and stuff and sort of do creative things in line with that? Or have you found that it's kind of difficult to navigate that space?
It's harder.
Harder?
I mean, people think, you know, people think, oh, because, I mean, and this could go for, when I speak, you know, I speak across all spectrums, you know what I'm saying? Like, I personally, my belief in God, I'm not saying, you know, anyone else has to believe what I do, but like in my belief, people think, oh, because that, you know, you're a believer and all that other stuff, like, life is easier. Like, no, life is harder, man. Like, you know, you become more sensitive, like, to sin and your sinful ways and nature and all that other stuff, and like trying to live you know, just trying to live a more like godly life or whatever. Like, it's hard, dude. Like, you're, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's actually harder, you know what I'm saying? Whereas before, like, I kind of just went about my ways and just not caring, and I just made this kind of stuff. But at the same time, though, like, I've also seen a lot more blessings, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've seen more blessings happen in my music career in the last 3 years than I did in like 15 years. So it's like, it's crazy, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, I mean, it's worth it. It's worth it, but it's hard. I mean, you still kind of got to watch. You got to remember too, like, you got to remember who's watching and who you're catering to and who you look up to. Like, just like the other day for Halloween, like this 10-year-old kid, like, I'm not kidding, like, I'm sure you saw
that story. Yeah,
this 10-year-old kid dressed up as me for Halloween. Like, that was without a doubt the most flattering thing. Like, probably did more than any Grammy award, materialistic like award I could put on my shelf. Like, that was more rewarding than anything. This kid, like, he didn't, like, I've never met him. Like, his parents were fans of mine, so like his music kind of like he got turned on to my music through his parents, but like he on his own accord went to my YouTube and became a fan of my music and all that other stuff. And so that was the most rewarding thing ever. And so I gotta be, you know what I'm saying, I gotta watch how I carry myself. So like, it's more hard in that aspect too. Like, whereas before, man, I was like, man, I would say like lewd and crude stuff, and I would just be, you know, stupid. And still to this day, like, sometimes things like slip out. I'm not perfect, you know what I'm saying? But like, you gotta watch your P's and Q's. You gotta, you know, on Facebook, I got a lot more people, like, even from church now, my Facebook friends. So I can't be, you know what I'm saying? And first of all, my heart isn't the same reckless guy that I used to be like 5 years ago. So like, I don't really want to do that, but sometimes, like, my old self, like, if I want to joke with a high school friend about something, like, you got to be careful about stuff that you post now, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of hard, man. You kind of got to watch your P's and Q's, and you got to remember who's watching and who looks up to you. Like, I mean, you got kids, like 10-year-old kids, like, looking up to me. I got 6-year-old kids looking up to me. I got women that are grandmas, like 50, 60-year-old, like, no BS. Like, so I mean, you kind of got to be careful. Like, I mean, you can't like really be out there as much as you were. Like, I mean, and I mean, sometimes you want to, even too, like, you want to get into politics and stuff, you know what I'm saying? But like, you kind of got to be careful with that stuff, dude. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, like, another side note, I think, you know what I'm saying, I can't prove anything, man, but I actually think that I lost, there was a certain award thing going on a couple of years ago. I was nominated for like 5 awards here locally. I'm not going to say what exactly, but I honestly think I got into a political debate online with like the people who run that award show, like on the night of the last presidential election. And I'm not even kidding. Like, I walked away with like, I'm just saying, I think it like heavily influenced their decision. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm saying, like, it's crazy. It's kind of a game of politics in itself, dude. Like, the music industry, man, you kind of got to watch. You don't want to like, man, it's so deep, bro. There's so many things. There's so many things behind the scenes, man. It's so deep. It's crazy, man. But
do you find,
again, like, if that's my ego speaking, forgive me, man. Forgive me, Lord. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, see, sometimes it creeps out. But I mean, like, you got to, man. You just got to remember who's watching, man. You do gotta, especially when, like, myself, you know, with my music, you know, and I'm doing what I'm doing with my music. You got to remember who you're representing. You know what I'm saying? And that's how other people could come to believe. So I mean, it's hard, dude. It's hard. You go 30 some years living your life one way, and then all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying, like that, you know, you have a change in heart and a change of direction in life. I mean, it's hard.
Mhm.
You got to unlearn a lot of things. You know what I'm saying?
So you said you've had a record label since before.
I started my independent record label, Rip Records, in 2000,
Records?
March of 2000.
Are you still working with that?
Yeah.
Or how's that work?
So
with
yeah.
the music
So
change?
I'm still Rip Records. That's my independent record label. I started in high school, literally with a credit card. And I created the website, and it's been running ever since. Through the time and through the years, like for a few years there, with my first 2 albums, I had digital distribution through Island Def Jam, but since then, you know, I'm independent.
Def Jam, what, like, is
Island
that
Def Jam?
is that P Diddy, or is that different?
No, that's different. That's
Okay.
but it's one of the, you know, it's one of the major labels. You know,
Okay.
they did a thing for a few years, and then, you know, they were digitally distributing some artists and stuff. But you know, aside from that, like, I've really been independent my whole life, and I love it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it would be nice to have some financial backing, like a major label, but at the same time, you know what I mean? Like, at what expense? You know what I mean? Like, how much
For
of my
sure.
freedom's like, I love being able to go out there, making whatever music I want, how I want it. Yeah, I don't have people telling me you should do this, you should do that. Like, and I don't know if you know this, but I direct all my own music videos too.
That was you who did
yeah,
all this?
Yeah. So
Dang.
I mean, like, you know, nobody over my head telling me, no, you can't do this, or you got to do this, or da 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 da. Like, I love it. You know what I'm saying? So it's very freeing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's cool.
yeah.
Are there any other artists on Rip Records
I had
right now
some-
that you're working with?
Well, when I first started Rip Records, I had a couple buddies from high school, and that kind of over the years, everybody went their separate ways in life. So, you know, right now it's mainly me. Sorry, man. I've been dealing with these allergies. I told Josh
worries.
earlier that I woke up with just like a stuffed face. But now in this past year, I actually came across these kids called Kane, and they're a couple kids, high school kids, 17-year-olds from Waunakee, Wisconsin. And I've been kind of working with them. We're not like full-fledged, like 100% like pushing them, but like they are artists. They're not officially with Rip Records, but I do co-sign them. They've been on stage with me at Broadfest and a couple other gigs. And I do co-sign them, and I'd love to work with them a little bit more. But as far as like artists, it's real. It was me. The last 3 years of my life, I've been really focused on my Rebirth and my Trinity album. So
Cool.
Sweet.
mainly Rip
That's
Records
dope.
is just Rip. There
Yeah.
goes that ego again.
No, it's all
me,
good.
baby. Nice.
So I know you got to play Bratfest. So what is it like being on stage, and how does that I don't know, like, what does that experience feel like,
Yeah.
and how do you deal with that, like, on and off? And
Just another day at the office.
dude,
No.
I wish
no. I mean, the thing I'll say to people, I mean, so my first show was 2004 in Kaukauna, up by Appleton, Wisconsin. And so I've been performing, 14 years? And I still, to this day, no matter what, I get nervous. I still get nervous before I take stage. It doesn't matter how big or how small the venue or the stage or the crowd is. I still get nervous. And I told myself the day I'm no longer nervous is the day that I don't love what I'm doing anymore. And I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, because you want to go out there, you want to do your best, you want to perform. You want to give your best performance. You don't want to mess up. And I mean, but it's a rush, dude. Like I said, it's a rush, man. I get nervous. Like I kind of pace, you know. I'm pacing a little bit beforehand. I'm trying to say a prayer, but I can't focus because I'm too nervous. You know what I'm saying? So like,
Yeah.
but it's a rush, man. Just being up there. I mean, that was my childhood dream. Like, you know what I'm saying? I just wanted to be on stage in front of everybody. Like, so it's awesome to be kind of living your childhood dreams
For
like
sure.
that, man. Like, it's dope.
Do you have any funny moments that have happened on stage, or anything that have stuck out as memorable?
Anything that stuck out memorable on stage? Trying to think back, man.
It's all good. That's 14 years to run through. Like,
Yeah. Man, I can't really think. I mean, there's been plenty of times where I flubbed my lyrics and I got pissed, and I'm like, man, I got a bad memory of something that I didn't like. I can't remember that was memorable. It was me again. It was me messing up, and it was at a local awards show here in Madison a few years ago. And I remember I got on stage, and this was like a big prestigious show, and it was like all genres too, not just like hip hop. So like I was representing, you know what I'm saying, like
yeah.
hip hop and everything. And I come out there, and I had my music video playing in the background, man. I had my girl and my friends in you know what I'm saying, like in the crowd and all this. And I'm like, yeah, let's do this. I had a violinist on stage, a drummer, like all this stuff. And I come out and the drummer had you're familiar with like music and all that stuff?
Oh yeah.
So the drummer had a wedge on stage for his mix. And I come out and for some reason, I don't know what happened. You can even hear it in the recording because I got a live video of it, man. But like there was like this huge flanging going on. So like I was hearing like this flange from over here and then something from the front of the stage. And if you know what flanging is, it's when like something is offset and it kind of causes this like like sound.
Like feedback loop.
So like
kinda?
I couldn't tell which signal was like the real one. So I was hearing like it was an offset. So like I was hearing, it was like almost like echoing. It was an offset. And I could not tell because I didn't have in-ear monitors. Ever since that show, like I started doing in-ear monitors if I could. And I couldn't hear from the front of my wedges or the drummer's wedge. I couldn't tell what was a real mix. And I was like thrown off. So like I like stopped like performing and I like looking around. I'm like, so I kind of like looked like an idiot almost. But it wasn't on me. It was like on the sound engineer. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you know what I'm saying? Like, and if I mess up my lyrics, like I'll take full ownership for that. But like for that one, I'm like, I was so upset, man, because I'm like, oh. And then I mean, but with things like that, you just got to roll with the punches and you got to try to pick up where you left off and just act like nothing happened. But inside, I'm like, man, I was really disappointed. Yeah, man,
for sure. No, I feel like we don't hear enough stories about things that, because I mean, you see all these people who go on stage and they run around and they act like, like you said, like another day in the office, but sometimes it doesn't always go perfectly. And so
I bet people can tell at Broadfest, man, I was in so much pain, dude. So I've been dealing with sciatica. I don't know if you guys know what that is. So it's your sciatic nerve runs from your lower spine all the way down your leg. Sure. And I had like misaligned hips and you know, I'm still dealing with it. Like I'm a lot better now than I was then, but like even on Tylenol, or I think I took some ibuprofen, and I even got a massage beforehand. They had a masseuse backstage, you know what I'm saying? I know behind the scenes type of things. And I got on stage, and it was still, man, it was like throbbing, dude. Ooh. It was like really bad. And I just had to kind of go up there and act like, you know what I'm saying, nothing was wrong. But man, I was in a lot of pain on that show.
Dang.
So yeah, there's a lot of stuff you don't know or see, you know what I'm saying? Like behind the scenes, man. For sure. Like,
you get used to performing it and kind of like,
I mean, you just got to go through with it, man.
Definitely.
That's cool.
Well, I'm curious for your career. So you've been doing this for 20 years. That's a long time to be committed to something that you care so passionately about, and really it's kind of at the whim of other people listening to it and finding enjoyment. So what have maybe been some like upswings and downswings, and what would you do to encourage other artists or creatives or anything to get through those high and low points?
Man, there's been a lot of highs and a lot of lows, man. I think the most frustrating is when you put so much heart and passion. I mean, any musician knows. I mean, any musician is going to think that their music is bomb. Like, who's going to make something be like, nah, that's garbage.
Sure.
But actually, I mean, I do. Actually, after a couple of years, I'm like, man, I made that. What was I thinking?
I was going to say,
I listened to my first few albums. But I mean, you know, just like the first like 15 years of my life, like nobody was like, I mean, I had supporters. I had my, you know what I'm saying? I had my true support. Like the thing that I think that hurt most even was like I didn't have my family support. Like the only ones who really supported me in the beginning was my grandma and my dad. And my grandma passed away in 2004. So in the very beginning, 2004. And then that same in 2003, my dad had a massive stroke. And my dad was there. My dad bought me like turntables, a microphone, like the studio monitors, the microphone, everything I have now that I'm still recording like 18 years later. My dad bought me that in the beginning. Wow. So he had a massive stroke. You know, my uncle ended up taking him in, and he was completely debilitated for the most part. To this day, he's bedridden. You know what I'm saying? So to lose, but like they were the only ones who really supported me. He helped me raise funds to press my first 2 CDs and everything. So that was great. But like my mom, my brothers, and all those other people, they didn't really, you know what I'm saying, support me until like recently. My mom just told me she was proud of me like 2 years ago. Wow. On the phone. And I was like, dude, literally when I hung up the phone, I literally went to my room and I like literally started sobbing and crying, dude. You know what I'm saying? Because like I realized that's all I ever wanted my whole life. And that's kind of where some of my addictions actually stem from. Like I was seeking validation and all this other things from you know, women and all this stuff. And I learned that in a workshop, actually. I went to this Men of Valor workshop up in Minnesota. But, you know, I had a lot of unresolved childhood issues. But I'm getting sidetracked here. Anyways, back to the music. back to the music. It takes tough skin. Listen, if you're going to get into music, man, you got to have some alligator skin. You got to be able to handle rejection. For every success you have, there's probably going to be 100 failures before that. So don't sit there and think that that you're entitled to fame or money or fans liking your music. You know what I'm saying? That is something you have to earn, dude. And you earn it by being consistent and making good music. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like I was making good music for many years, but I found my niche now. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting a lot more support with the direction and the music that I'm making now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think I had 10-year-old fans with my first stuff I put out, because I was just talking about stupid stuff, like the typical stuff you hear on the radio with these hip-hop artists. You know what I'm saying? Like, money, fame, women, drinking, smoking, this, blah, 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 blah. Like, I got this, I got that, you know, like just stunting, flossing, all on that stupid stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't really talking about nothing real, like real life. And then until this album, my latest album, Trinity, is when I really started coming out, and I started talking about, you know, my addictions and all the other stuff I've been through and all the pain. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, one of my, I was just real with people. I was candid and real, and that's what I think people were able to relate to. You know what I'm saying? Like one of my lyrics on the song was like, or one of my lyrics on the album was like, at church, looking for meaning, and later I'm tipping some strippers that evening, or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And that was a real part of my life. Like, you know, back in my heyday, like I used to do that. You know what I'm saying? I'd be at the 5 o'clock service on Saturday for church, and then later that night I'm with my buddies out at the strip club. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's where I was at that point in my life. But I was real with them, you know what I'm saying, talking about my addictions. I mean, I'm not condoning that in the song, but I'm talking about my past and what, you know what I'm saying, the stuff that I went through. And I think people just realized, you know, and I talked about things on that album too that I've never talked about ever in my almost 20-year recording career. So I think just being real and sharing my pain and all the other stuff with people, and kind of professing my faith and everything else that I do on that album, I think it just resonated a lot more with people versus the stuff where I used to make before. I try to make stuff for the radio and the clubs and all the other stuff, because that's what I thought was popping. I thought that's what's going to make me money. You know what I'm saying? But now it's not even about the money. It's about spreading a message. And I know it sounds so cliche to say that, man, but I mean,
it's the truth.
Anyways, I mean,
about.
You're gonna get rejected. I still to this day get rejected, and it's frustrating, man. Like, I don't know if you're familiar, like with Rapzilla. You guys know Rapzilla? That's like the #1 Christian hip hop blog, man. I've submitted every single song on my album, and I've been rejected every single time. They've never posted my videos. I tried to pay $500 in advertising with my Satisfied music video, and even then, they didn't want my $500. Like, they wouldn't. So, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to get rejected, and it sucks, dude. It hurts. You know what I'm saying? But like, you have to keep, like, you need to understand, man, you got to be persistent. You got to be consistent and persistent. And at the end of the day, man, I mean, the market determines, like, what's hot and what they want to consume. So you can't get mad. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't get mad at everybody else and frustrated at all these other blogs and all these other fans for not supporting me and all my other stuff. I can't get mad at them. Like, that's my fault. You know what I'm saying? And I don't even know if it's my fault, but I'm just saying, like, I'm the one who controls that. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm making stuff that they don't like, or they don't want, or they don't buy or share or consume or come out to support, like, that's on me. So, like, you guys got to understand that, like, you're not entitled to anybody, anybody's likes or follows or anything like that. Like, it's on you to find, you know what I'm saying, what's going to work. But it takes a lot of work, man. It's consistent, man. I've spent so much money on my music career. Like, you got to invest in yourself. That's another thing, huge key. You have to invest in yourself. If you want others to invest in you, like, you got to invest in yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want 10,000 fans to buy your album, what is that? 10,000 fans times like a $10 album, like $100,000. If you want someone to spend $100,000 on you, expect to spend $100,000, $200,000 on yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, don't expect stuff to be free. Like, I understand people, like, when I first started making music, I wanted to get out of, you know what I'm saying, like, Waukegan, where I grew up. Like, to this day, like, I just wanted to buy my mom a house because we grew up poor. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was in it for the money, man. And so I was doing whatever I could to make quick money. But you got to understand, like, you got to have the money to invest in yourself first. For sure. For others to invest in you. Because nobody's just going to invest in you just because, like.
Exactly. You get what you give.
Like, you got to bring like value.
Yeah.
People pay for value. What kind of value are you bringing to people's lives? The value I'm bringing to my album is like, just resonating with people and their, you know what I'm saying, with my real message and giving them hope. I think my album gives more hope than anything. And if you're not bringing value, like, nobody's gonna, like, why do you go to the store and you spend money on stuff like all this stuff? Because it brings value. You know, like,
for sure.
So
or go for it. I'm also curious. So from I know I'm from like more the writer side, so I have no musical talent. So, but I'm really curious.
I don't either. So I hire, dude. I got all my producers and my guitarists and violinists. I can't play word to lick, but I can produce the heck out of a song though. But I mean, anyways, continue.
So I'm curious what your mindset and your like what your process is technically like when you're writing lyrics. How many revisions do you go through? How do you get to a point where you're like, okay, this flow sounds good, and I know that this flow leading into this hook, leading into this next verse, and like what's your process for kind of sifting through and self-judging when your song is ready?
Yeah. So the funny thing is, like now where I'm at this stage in my career, it's kind of funny because since I told you I direct all my own music videos, I actually have a music video envisioned in my head while I'm writing the song. So like before the song's even like written or recorded, like I already have the music video done in my head.
Dang.
So it's kind of weird. So I kind of do things a lot backwards. That's now, but I don't know where. I'm trying to figure out where I pinpointed where that came along. I think that's just on this latest album in the last few years, but it's hard. So like my creative process is the way I usually traditionally did it was because I understood the importance of a catchy beat and a hook that really reel people in. My main focus for a majority of my career was not even the lyrical content. It was, do I got a catchy beat and do I got a catchy hook? So if I didn't have a catchy beat and I didn't have a catchy hook, I didn't even start writing a song to begin with. So you know, a lot of people, they go through heartache and they go through all this stuff like true, like artists and everything. I say true, but like they'll probably sit there and they'll write from their heart and the pain that they're going through, and they'll worry about like writing a like track and chorus and all that later. They just want to get the pain out. Like I did it backwards. Like I made sure I had a catchy beat. If the beat wasn't even catchy or didn't make me bob my head, or if I wasn't vibing to it, I wouldn't even write a hook. So once I had the beat, then I'd write a catchy hook. And once I realized, yo, that's catchy as heck, like I could just sell this the way it is with a beat and a hook and no lyrics, I'm like, I'm good. And then that's when I would go and I would write the lyrics according to the beat and the concept and the hook. That's how I did things a majority of my life and the majority of my career. On the newest album, it's still kind of the same, but like I said, I kind of envision the concept. First and foremost, I want to know what the concept of the song is. And then I start envisioning kind of a music video and visuals, and then I kind of go back to my thing again with the beat and the hook, and then fill in the lyrics as well too. So I mean, it more or less it all starts with the concept. More than likely, it's all starts with the concept. Unless I come across a catchy beat, and I'm like, yo, that's fire. I need to write something to that. But it usually all starts with that concept and or that beat, and then I go from there, and then I start visualizing the video, and then I put a chorus down, and then I'll write. You know what I'm saying?
No,
that's more
awesome.
or less. That's
That's
more
cool.
or less the process goes down. So the very last thing that I write are the actual lyrics to the song. And the funny thing is, my very least favorite part of making any part of the creative song process, writing process, is actually writing the lyrics.
Really?
Yeah, it's my least favorite. I love doing the music videos nowadays. My music videos are my favorite part of the music making process. Recording is pretty decent, mixing is decent, but like I do not like writing. I got ADD. I can't focus. It's really hard. But for some reason, like even this last album, man, I could tell like the enemy was weighing me down, man. I would sleep in bed, like I was depressed. You know, I mean, of course I was going through a breakup and everything too, but like I was in bed, like I was depressed. I couldn't get out of bed, like I couldn't write, and it took a drained me by the end. When I finally finished that album, I was done writing it. I was like, whew. I mean, but there was it's a tough process, man, because like the stuff that I write doesn't just rhyme, like it's literally from my heart, man. And like I hope people like feel those lyrics, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's how any song artist feels about their music. They just want people to hear what they're trying to say, because it comes from the heart, man. You know what I'm saying? So like when people reject your music, it stings, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like it's deep, it's personal, man. This last album was the most personal album I've ever wrote in my life. So
Okay.
to date,
I can tell. It's really good.
Thank
So.
you, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Have you done any music videos or anything for other artists?
Yeah, I have. I do. I mean, I'm a kind of a freelance videographer on the side too. That's how I fund my music career. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause it is not cheap. I do freelance videography and I do other music videos for other artists. Yeah, I do.
Okay.
And actually, I'm teamed up with my buddy Nick Cardarella with Sound Vision Co. We're kicking off this music video or this music and film studio out on the east side. Yeah, Sound Vision. Check us out, man.
Cool. Sound Vision?
Sound Vision Co.
That's cool.
Soundvisionco.com, and we're about to
Put that in my notes here.
yeah, we're about to just I mean we're doing what we can, man. We're helping other artists out. We're doing music videos and man,
That's cool.
just grinding, dude.
Need
Grinding.
people?
Yeah, no, hey, no, you hit me up on Twitter, man. And you let me know, man. So if we ever need videographers, man,
Dude,
I'm gonna
here.
keep you in mind, bro. I'm
That's
gonna
cool.
definitely
Here.
keep you in mind.
Solid. Hey.
Hey,
That's what they say. Cool.
Oh my gosh, look at the time, dude.
I know. So
Yeah,
we got to
buddy.
get Rip out of here because he's a busy man. He's got videos to make.
If you want, man, I'll give you guys like another 5 minutes if there's anything else, or 8 minutes if you guys want to squeeze something in, man. I feel like
The last thing I'm curious about is there's a lot of collabs on your album, it
Yeah,
seems.
yeah,
Are those
yeah.
friends or are those other musicians you reached out
Yeah,
to? Or
they're,
what's the process?
so the unfortunate thing about my album is so chorus intensive with other artists. Like when I perform, like I need someone else there as a backup vocalist because like a majority of my song, there's featured. The choruses are featured from other people. So when I was a
Gotta get some
kid,
singing lessons.
true story, dude. When I was a kid, I got cut from chorus in 5th grade. I cannot sing or anything. Heartbreaking, bro. I just
Spell
wanted
your
to
heart
be.
out,
I
man.
just wanted to be in a boy band, man. So I had to turn to rapping. Like no BS. Who
That's
gets cut
awesome.
from choir in 5th grade?
Yeah,
like
right,
I did.
like, sorry, you're not cut out.
I tried out and Miss Lorcy cut me and John Slayson. No BS. I'm not kidding. I still got a grudge to this day. I'm not. No, I don't. I forgive you, Miss Lorcy. But
That's awesome.
my dream is to learn how to sing. I do want to take singing
All right,
lessons.
all
And I
right.
want to be able to sing a lot of my own stuff. And I want to kind of get into more music where it's not also so much rapping, but also kind of like singing and like, I want to bring more like melodic kind of
Get some
flow.
R&B going in there?
Yeah, man. I
All
want to
right,
bring
all
more
right.
melodic flow to my stuff eventually. So it is a goal to get some singing lessons. But the people featured on my album, I had A&T was featured on my first album, who's on my song Best Friend on this album, and I wanted to feature him again. He's a great singer. He's a great performer. He could freestyle and perform like crazy, man. I love that dude. I just wish him and I could do more stuff together, but he's married, kids, he's doing that whole thing. He's doing the real life kind of thing, and
Yep.
but him and I won collaboration of the year to 2013 Madison Hip Hop Awards
Oh, wow.
for my song Dream Girl. So I wanted to collaborate with him again on this album. My buddy Billy, aka Sincere, is on my album again. I collabed with him on my my second album, so I wanted him on this one again. Another great singer, a good friend of mine. So those two people I worked with before, and I knew I wanted to work with them. So like if I ever like put out albums, those are the first two guys I think of. And then I've also featured Katie Scullin, who's a local like kind of folk pop artist here in Madison.
Okay.
Beautiful, crazy voice. I wanted a female voice that just had that distinct like sound that was just like real folky.
Was she the one on Who Is Rip?
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
She's got a
So
good voice.
yeah, it's beautiful voice, and I just wanted to feature her on there. And then who else is on there? I'm trying to think. But those are the three main that I can think of right now. I collaborated. Oh, and then my song Still Here, number 8. That's a collaboration. Remember you asked if I had any Rip Records
Yeah.
artists?
Yeah.
Those are the first guys that I really launched my label with,
Okay.
like back in the early 2000s. Those are the ones who I had coming up in my bedroom like till midnight, and my mom's
Nice.
coming home from work like pissed off, like, what are you guys doing up in here? We're all like swearing and like recording at like 12 and 1 in the morning. My mom comes home from a late night shift waiting tables. And so those are the kids that really helped me get my launch and start in Waukegan. And
That's
they
cool.
were early years of Rip Records. So I brought them
Awesome.
back. Yeah, I brought them back and wanted to collaborate with them on this album.
Who was it that sang the hook on that one? He had
Oh,
like
that's
a
Kurt.
Kurt.
So Kurt is in a band. He's in 2 local bands right here in Madison. One is Go Play God, and another one is another one. I forgot the other band name. Some Cartels.
Okay.
So he's like
I really
a rock.
liked his voice.
He's
It's
a
like a
rock singer.
rocker
Yep.
voice.
He's a
Sorry.
rock singer.
Hit your
Yep.
mic.
He's in a rock. I don't think they're metal, but he's in a rock band.
Okay.
Tight.
I liked his
2 rock
voice.
bands.
Yeah.
That was
Awesome.
dope, man. I
Cool.
think I was the one who appreciated that song more than anything. I think my other artists on that, they kind of did the song just cause we're family or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think they're more gangster rap. So like to kind of bring in that like rock sound, I think it was kind of different. And you know what I'm saying. But it was cool to get everybody on that track together, man. That was awesome.
It was a fun track.
Yeah, it's probably one of my faves on that album.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I dig it,
Yeah.
but
Appreciate that.
I tend towards that bend. So
Yeah. I
No
definitely,
surprises.
I was digging that hook too.
Yeah.
That guy's
Dope,
voice
man.
is
I
just
appreciate
awesome.
that
for sure.
man.
Cool. We need to get you out of here because you're busy, man. You got places to be.
Yeah.
We usually just
unfortunately.
shotgun out information, so you can check us out on Twitter and Instagram. So I am at Sixwin Creative and at Pop Culture Punks. Phil is I am Phil Sorensen. My younger brother is C San Pellegrino, and at Chris of the Vast. You can check our podcast on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, and YouTube, and Spotify. Forgot that
Yeah,
one.
buddy.
And then we
Yeah,
have some
open
like
it up.
merch and stuff up on Redbubble and Threadless, and it's just like our podcast logo and all that good stuff. It's pretty much it.
Yeah.
My man, thanks for swinging by. It was
Yeah,
awesome
Guys,
chatting.
thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Please have me back. I feel like we didn't even
100%.
talk about nothing.
Yeah,
you guys
we'll-
didn't get a word in at all.
Dude, we
That's
we
what
do
we
this
do
every
That's what
week.
we,
Yeah.
we talk all the time.
Yeah.
Man, I appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah.
Nothing but
Where-
love. Please have me back.
Where can people check you out? If
Oh,
they-
yeah. You guys can check me out on my website, whoisrip.com. Otherwise, social media, pretty much all handles are at whoisrip. Instagram at whoisrip. Twitter at whoisrip. You can find me on Facebook, Rip Music, and I'm on YouTube, Rip Records. But usually my website has all those links, so just go to whoisrip.com. You can get the link to all my socials on that and everything. So
Cool.
Tight.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's fun
Thanks for
having you,
tuning in.
man.
Yeah.
We'll definitely get you back. 'cause
100%.
We just hit the surface.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
Right on.
I
We'll have to
appreciate
catch
you
you
guys.
up on all the movies and stuff. Then we can.
Yeah, absolutely. Please. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Take it easy. We'll catch you on the next one.